Hello, welcome to Bible class. I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying. We're going to pause the video. You're going to have an opening prayer with your family. I want you to read Daniel chapter 3, and then when you get that read, come back to the video. I'll be right here waiting. I'm going to try to pause occasionally and let you stop and discuss, but if I do not do that, you can pause and discuss anytime you want to. So let's go ahead and pause the video, say your opening prayer, and read your chapter, and I'll be right back. Okay, in last lesson, we learned that Daniel and his 3 friends came to Babylon because of a captivity by the Babylonian Empire, Nebuchadnezzar. And we learned that Daniel made a request about what they were to eat, what they were to drink. He said, can we just have fruit and vegetables? Can we just not eat what the king wants us to eat? Of course, that happened. And Daniel was raised up in the place of the court. Now you remember why he did that. If you look at verse 8 of Daniel chapter 1, it says, but Daniel made up his mind that he would not defile himself with the king's choice food or with the wine which he drank. And remember, defile means unclean, dirty, impure. Daniel was not going to do that. Daniel's 3 friends were the same. So in today's lesson, we're going to focus on Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which are their Babylonian names. Let's think about why they would change their names. Let's think about what Nebuchadnezzar did. He took them out of their country, away from their home. He brought them into a different culture. He wanted to feed them different food. He changed their name. He brought them into circumstances that they were not familiar with. And he did all of that because when you take somebody out of what is normal for them and put them in abnormal, it's easier to make them do what you want them to do, okay? But Daniel and his friends did not defile themselves before God. Okay, and that's important. So in today's lesson, chapter 3, whenever we look at this, before we do, I want to go back to chapter 2, which we did not read, but if you'll remember this. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and he saw a great big statue. These are not all the details, but basically Daniel was finally called in, and he said, Nebuchadnezzar, you are the head of gold, and there's going to be an empire after you that's the shoulders and arms of silver. And then after that, there's going to be another kingdom, and then there's another kingdom and another kingdom. And at last, the feet and the legs were all destroyed by a huge rock that had been cut out of the mountain. And he said, and that kingdom will come during the reign of those kings, and it will never be destroyed. Never be destroyed. And that's important to us. But in today's lesson, in Daniel chapter 3, the same king, Nebuchadnezzar, that knew about Daniel, that talked to Daniel, Daniel was an advisor, decides that he's going to erect a great big tall golden statue. And he had it erected and set up on a plain out so everybody could see it. It was just out in an open plain. Everybody could see this thing. And if my math is right, it was about 90 feet tall by 9 feet wide, something in that ballpark. And he had his advisors call everybody, all the nations, all the advisors, all the princes, everybody to come. And whenever they heard the sounds of the musical instruments, then they were to bow down to that golden idol. Well, they all came. They heard the music. The people bowed down. But in chapter 3, verse 6, let me read what it says. But whoever does not fall down and worship shall immediately be cast into the midst of a furnace of blazing fire. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever looked at a real hot fire. I had an opportunity to do that whenever I was taking some classes at SFA, and we were pouring hot metal into a crucible. That metal was so hot, that fire was so hot that it was like a sparkler. It was just white hot, just doing this. It was just white hot. It wasn't blue, it wasn't yellow, it wasn't red, it was white hot. It's the hottest fire I've ever seen, and that's made an impression on me. So this is what Nebuchadnezzar said. If you don't bow down to that, you're going into that furnace. So the music played, the people bowed down, but let's go on down to verse 8. For this reason, at that time, certain Chaldeans came forward and brought charges against the Jews. They responded and said to Nebuchadnezzar the king, O king, live forever. You, O king, have made a decree that every man who hears the sound of the horn, the flute, the lyre, the trigon, the psalter, the bagpipe, and all kinds of music is to fall down and worship the golden image. But whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast into the midst of a furnace of blazing fire. There are certain Jews whom you have appointed over the administration of the province of Babylon, namely Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, here's the charges, there's 3 of them, have disregarded you. They do not serve your gods or worship the golden image which you have set up. 3 things they told Nebuchadnezzar. Well, let's see how Nebuchadnezzar behaved. You read the chapter. Let's look at some of the words that describe Nebuchadnezzar. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in rage and anger, gave orders to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men were brought before the king. So let's look at how he behaved. Rage, anger, two of them. And he talked to them and he said, if you're ready to, when you hear this music, to bow down to this idol, it's going to be okay with you. And he said, but if you do not, now listen to what he's saying, but if you do not worship, you will immediately be cast into the midst of a furnace of blazing fire. And what God is there who can deliver you out of my hands? Key question. What God is there that could deliver them out of his hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to give you an answer concerning this matter. In other words, we don't have to stop and talk about what we're going to tell you. We don't have to consider our answer. This is their answer. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from this furnace of blazing fire, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. So they told him, our God is able to do it, and he will do it. He can do it. Look for him to. They went on, but even if he does not, Let it be known to you, O king, that we are not going to serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. Now think about that. Here's a man, a king. This is his disposition. And they have come in and told him, we're going to tell you who can deliver us. The God we worship can deliver us, and he will deliver us. But if he doesn't, King Nebuchadnezzar, if you throw us into that fire, we're still not going to worship other gods. We're not going to worship that statue. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Think about it. Here's the fiery furnace. Here they are before the king, and he's mad. Why would they do that? Let's go on. Let's look at what Nebuchadnezzar did. Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with wrath, and his facial expression was altered. Filled with wrath. Now think about these words. And his facial expression. What does that mean? Changed toward them. Do you know what that means? I've only seen that one time, and I'm going to tell you about it. I worked with some people, and two of them got crossways with each other. And one of them was absolutely filled with wrath at the other one. It was shocking to me to see it, but it was absolute blind rage that I was looking at. I've never seen it again, but I've never forgotten what that looked like. It was just, eyes were just blanked out with rage. And that's what the king did with the boys. And so he commanded the valiant warriors in his army to come and get them, tie them up, make the furnace 7 times hotter, take them up there and throw them in. So that's what they did. And the fire was so hot that when the men got close, and of course they were all tied up together, to put them in the furnace, that it burned up the men that brought him up there, his warriors. How mad would a king have to be to burn up his valiant warriors? I mean, think about that. Think about what he did. Well, they were in the fire. Nebuchadnezzar was looking, and this is what happened. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astounded and stood up in haste and said to his high officials, "Was it not 3 men we cast into the midst of the fire?" They replied to the king, "Certainly, O king." He said, "Look, I see 4 men loosed and walking about in the midst of the fire without harm, and the appearance of the 4th is like a son of the gods." Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the door of the furnace. He responded and said, "Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, come out. You servants of the Most High God, come here." And then they came out. And the Bible tells us that, let me read verse 27. The satraps, the prefects, the governors, and the king's high officials gathered around and saw in regard to these men that the fire had had no effect on the bodies of these men, nor was the hair of their heads singed, nor were their trousers damaged, nor had they the smell of fire even come upon them. That's how protected they were in that fire. God protected them. Who was that fourth one? Think about that. Think about that. So they did not defile themselves. And this is what Nebuchadnezzar said. Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has set his angel and delivered his servants who put their trust in him, violating the king's command, and yielded up their bodies so as not to serve or worship any god except their own God. And of course, he raised them into a high position in his court. But the main thing we want to get out of this is, well, we're going to talk about it. I want to show you this. Y'all know what this is? Anybody know what this is? That's right. It's a shovel. What kind of shovel is this? Do you know? Shovels are different. This is a sharpshooter. Do you know what you do with these things? See how long and thin this is? You can just get right down into that dirt and go deep, and you can dig deep into it and pull that dirt out, because that's what it's made to do. You can dig around plants, get way deep. Now, the reason I brought this is because I brought it to illustrate to you that just like you can use this and dig deep, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in the face of certain death, a horrible death, had to dig real deep and know who they were. And that more than that, they had to know who God was. They had to have an absolute faith in God to do what they did. Think about that. The times were scary. This was certainly a scary situation. And yet, instead of looking at what they could see on the outside, they looked within themselves and knew God. And whatever was going to happen, whether He delivered them or not, their faith in Him, in God, was so strong that whatever the king would do, it wouldn't matter. Whatever the king was going to do, they were going to honor God anyway. That's hard to do sometimes. We get scared, we get bullied, we get told things that are terrifying sometimes to us. But God is always right there. Always right there. Now, I want us to look at what Nebuchadnezzar said. You remember when we talked about Daniel, we talked about Daniel's example. Well, let's talk about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's example to the king, the man who was this. Nebuchadnezzar said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants who put their trust in him." There's the key. There's the key. They had their faith and their trust in him in the face of real and present danger. He goes on to say that they put their trust in him and they violated the king's command and yielded up their bodies so as not to serve or worship any god except their own God. Now I want us to think about something. Remember when God gave the children of Israel the commandments back at Mount Sinai? Do you remember the 10 commandments? What's the first commandment? You shall have no other God before me. Well, this is centuries later, but God that they worship and the God that we worship is the same. When he told the children of Israel to come out and be different from the people around them, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel took that seriously. And they did not defile themselves to become like the people around them or to violate their relationship with God. And that's what I want you to get out of this lesson. I want you to think about the choices that you make. They could have acquiesced and said, okay, let's go do it. We're not going to believe in God. We're not going to worry about it. God won't see. He'll understand. So I want you to think about the choices that you make today and tomorrow and the next day. And you think about their kids. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were young men, young people. So I want you to think about that. And I'll see you at the next lesson, because we're going to find out somebody who didn't learn. Thanks.